Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's live. We are going to be focusing on the meaning of your twin flame being in your life. Today, joining me, we have certified Ascension coach Christina and mastered certified Ascension coach Lisi joining me today. And I'm Kanisha. And I am really looking forward to just jumping into this topic of truly understanding why your twin flame is in your life. And for me, ultimately, it is to help you ascend to God, to be closer to God, and really have a deep, intimate relationship with your creator. And for me, when I first came on this twin flame journey, it was all about just having the romantic partner and having a juicy love life. But the more that I've gone deeper into this work and truly understood the purpose of my twin flame, the more that I understand that it's allowing me to know who I am at the core and my purpose here, and also knowing God and what my relationship with God is supposed to look like for my unique self. Everyone has a different relationship with God, which I absolutely love. But at the core, it is unconditional love and really knowing that you were created with a perfect partner that God wanted to love you perfectly through. So I will pass that along and see what you guys have to say about this topic.
Yeah, I echo what you shared, Kanisha, and I really didn't know what the purpose of my twin flame was until I actually came to Twin Flames Universe. For me, I always had a feeling of I wanted to be with the one. I had many trials to find my perfect partner, but I wasn't thinking beyond that in the beginning. Like I was just thinking, oh, I just want to be with my person because I have this desire in my heart. But there is a deeper purpose, and there's a reason why that desire is so powerful to want to be with your twin flame. And the purpose is much, much greater than just getting to be with, a hot guy or girl to smooch, right? Like it's definitely a share in their book. Um, in chapter 7, we'll talk a little bit about that. But I just kind of wanted to share a little up front, like I had no idea that there was such a deep and rich purpose to my twin flame union that was beyond what anybody had ever explained, even in spiritual circles. A lot of spiritual circles that I was in, and I was in many, kind of wrote off the romantic partnership as like an extraneous extra thing that you had on the side. But here at Twin Flames Universe, it is front and center, and there's a deeper meaning why that we'll get into.
Yeah, one of the greatest gifts that your twin flame gives to you is they are your divine mirror. And so, um, whether that feels good to you sometimes or whether it doesn't feel good to you sometimes, they provide you with, just by being themselves, a lot of feedback about where your consciousness is. And that's really, really valuable because this is an ascension journey and it supports you in recognizing your connection with yourself and where it's at and how you can potentially go deeper in connecting with yourself and connecting with God simply by working through the things that your twin flame shows you that feel uncomfortable or feel where there's disharmony in your relationship. So it's extremely powerful because um, there's no one else who's going to mirror your consciousness to the extent that your twin flame does. So
Yeah,
that in
what you were
itself is powerful.
touching on there is like one of the things that helped me get through, especially the upset part, is that your relationship with your twin flame is a direct reflection of your relationship with God. And when I really started embracing that part, that really allowed me to move through the upsets fairly quickly instead of staying in the story and continuously thinking that this was impossible or that I hear this a lot. Oh my gosh, I have so much that I have to heal. I have so much things that I have to do in order to be with my twin flame. And there's this deep level of hopelessness that you can feel in that energy. And when I really started to shift out of that was recognizing like, no, they're here to help me come closer to God. And as I come closer to God, I will naturally come closer to them. I don't have to try to figure out the the relationship part with them so much as figuring that out with God first. And then it actually kind of just opens up and flows with your twin flame. It's like God creates these openings for you to go deeper with your twin flame, but it is you naturally going deeper with God first.
Yeah. To that note, I would like to read an excerpt from the book Twin Flames Finding Your Ultimate Lover, which is on the Twin Flames Universe website. It's also this book behind me here. And this excerpt is about the purpose of Harmonious Twin Flame Union. The purpose of Harmonious Twin Flame Union, or abbreviated as HTFU, is to live a God-centered life. This doesn't mean split yourself off from society and pray all the time. It means living in harmony and communion with God, your twin flame as one. It means you and your twin flame work together to root out the remaining upsets from your one consciousness. It means you live a shared life together of love and romance. All the romance God has for you is expressed through your twin flame. That relationship is absolutely sacred, and the sexual union you share is so private and unspeakably perfect and beautiful that it could not possibly be shared with another. The purpose of your harmonious twin flame union is that you and your twin flame live a single life together with a shared purpose. It doesn't mean you have to be working on the exact same thing at the exact same time. It means you build and grow a life together, an eternal life. Remember, as an eternal being, you keep everything if you decide to reincarnate, not your physical stuff, but the vibration you hold in your heart that attracts all manner of things to you is kept until you change it. So rest in solace and peace, knowing you and your twin flame get to keep going forever. It is a forever place for your love, an unassailable vessel of protection and security that you may invest in eternally. Its full meaning and purpose is beyond the scope of this book or what can be discussed in any single text, but in a richer medium like your own harmonious twin flame union, you can find more there. Ultimately, we choose to impart to you not only your twin flame, but a journey of discovery and a permanently open state of mind where richer knowledge and awareness can finally seep in and awaken you always into greater expansion. The purpose of your harmonious twin flame union is to share a love of life together forever. So that's pretty comprehensive.
Mhm.
Something that that Jeff and Shalia often have shared in Twin Flame Ascension School classes is that you have to respect that deeper function of your union in order for it to blossom into the romance that it will naturally be, right? And so you really have to respect the fact that the purpose of your your harmonious union with your twin flame, the purpose of having your twin flame in your life is to help you live a God-centered life, is to help you ascend your consciousness, right? Which just means that your life grows deeper and deeper into alignment with love. And so I think one of the most important things that people can do on their journey as they're getting started, it's very natural to start with, these deep feelings for a person, and it's all about that for a little while. As you work on the journey, you start to recognize that it's deeper than that. And one of the best things you can really do is respect that you're being invited deeper into a relationship with the divine, with the universe, with God. And so when you respect that role of your union, the other pieces naturally fall into place.
Mhm. Yeah, you touch on such an important piece there of um, recognizing a massive shift within myself of when I was trying to seek certain things from my twin flame and always being met with resistance or rejection instead of seeking it from God. And when I really started seeking those things from God as just simple things of just wanting attention, wanting communication, wanting validation, those are things that I recognize, like, what do I think I'm going to get from it by getting it from them? And once I understood what I thought I was going to get, I realized that I could just, like, we're taught to get it from God. And is that enough for you? And one of the things that I really had to ground into was the love that I was seeking from my twin flame is the love that I easily get from God. It's actually the love that I'm seeking from my twin flame is the love from God because it's God moving through my twin flame to give me that love. And so I can go right to the source instead of trying to go outside of myself and get that. And that really brought a lot of relief. It really helped me relax more into my journey, relax more into my union. And things started just shifting very quickly. And that's because you're, like you said, your twin flame is your perfect mirror. And so when you make that change and that shift, your twin flame is going to mirror that instantly. And I think we can get really caught up in trying to change our twin flame or convince our twin flame or wait on our twin flame. And those are things that you're going to be waiting on for a pretty long time because they are you. And unless you're making that shift and change within you, they're just going to continue mirroring the pattern and the beliefs that you're holding on to. And so their ultimate job is they're always loving you unconditionally. I think by being in the open form, there's definitely sometimes a misconception that, like, no, your twin flame is here to have a toxic relationship with you or to hurt you or to put you in a third party energy. And it's like, no, the truth is they're only ever and will only ever unconditionally love you by pointing out to you where you're misaligned in your consciousness, where you're not aligning with love in your consciousness. And the deeper that I've gone into this journey, the more gratitude I have for my twin flame. I used to have resentment and anger and like frustration with my twin flame, but the more that I started to truly understand the purpose of him being in my life, the deeper gratitude I had. And every time he brought an upset to me, Jeff and Shalia talk about it being a gift. And at first I was like, what? This is no gift. Like, I don't know about you, but like I like gifts and this is not it. But the more that I understood it, the more I was like, they're right. This truly is a gift. This has helped me just be relieved of the struggle that I was experiencing or the doubt and the fear that I was moving through due to the misalignment. And when I truly brought love to that space, you feel deep relief, you feel deep peace. And it is then very easy for you to feel that gratitude of just like, wow, thank you for pointing that out to me. And so yeah, your twin flame is really here to help you become the best version of yourself, the highest version of yourself, while aligning with them as well. And they're doing the same thing. They're becoming the best versions of themselves because of what you mirror to them and what you are showing them in your consciousness.
So that's so funny. You're talking about, this is a gift. Like at first, that's how I felt too. I was like, oh my gosh, this mirroring is intense, right? And I didn't find Twin Flames universe at first when I was on my twin flame journey. I stumbled across other teachings, and one of the teachings I found said that your twin flame, the purpose of your twin flame is to come and stir up all of those misalignments so you can heal them and then they leave. And I was like, that doesn't feel right. That feels kind of cruel because that would mean that the divine would cause me to love a person who stirred things up and then left. Like something didn't sit well with me. And so I'm so glad that I found Jeff and Shalia's YouTube videos and started following them, watching their channel, and learned that no, like your twin flame is there to live one life with you with God. And that, yeah, they are going to bring up all these painful misalignments, but not to make you feel bad, but so that you can like shine a light in those places and heal. And that's what the mirror exercise does that you hear people talk about a lot. It's really important to master the mirror exercise and learn it from an expert, because a lot of people try it on their own without guidance, and they kind of maybe misunderstand it a little bit, and that can cause some confusion and maybe even more discomfort. So really work with a coach that can guide you in how to master the mirror exercise yourself. Um,
Mm.
but this is really important to know that yes, your twin flame does bring up all of your painful misalignments the most out of anybody else in existence, but they're also your perfect partner. And they also partner with you in life. You serve together. How that looks is different for every couple of the reunion. Like how it looks. Some twin flames want to be twin flame coaches together. Other people serve together doing different things. So there's much more to unpack and unfold. But I did want to express that. Like I found something that made sense to my mind and my heart here in Twin Flames universe about how to see your twin flame properly and who they are to you.
Yeah, when you truly see your twin flame properly and who they are to you, they will see you properly. There will be no convincing them that you're twin flames. They will understand your purpose and who you are in their life. And it that's the really the beauty of twin flames is a lot of the times you will have conversations, but for the most part, usually a conversation isn't needed because you are one consciousness. When one of you gets clear, the other one naturally gets clear. And so if a conversation is needed, God would always opens it up. That's something I've had to really learn is to let go of control of trying to convince or to logically show them like, hey, we're twin flames, and just give it to God. And God would always have an opening, or my twin flame would come to me and he would start the conversation. And I'm like, oh, okay, like we're on the same page. And that's the truth. You and your twin flame are always on the same page. Even if you're having an upset, you're just having a miscommunication. And my advice there is mastering the mirror exercise, doing your inner work. Because when we try to fix that on the outside, this was a huge lesson, was not approaching your twin flame union like a soulmate relationship. Your natural thought process is we have to talk it out, we have to figure it out right now. But what we're taught at Twin Flames Universe and by really approaching your union as a twin flame union is you want to heal that within, you want to go with God within and really truly allow yourself to get to the core of it, and then of course have that conversation with your twin flame, and you'll see that it naturally starts to fix itself on the outside because you've healed the core of it within.
Yeah, I love what you touched on, that when you can see your twin flame accurately, that's when your twin flame sees you accurately. And I think that that's one of the reasons why this is such a transformative journey,
Mm.
is because it really goes into healing what's out of alignment with your identity, right? Like healing your true identity, or developing, or aligning into your true identity, right? There's so many things we carry with us that aren't really ours, or they're not really who we truly are. And as as you naturally like progress along your journey, you're going to also naturally get very clear about what's really you and what is something that you've picked up along the way for whatever reason. And as you choose authenticity, your twin flame um, can see you more clearly.
Yeah.
Do we have any questions coming up?
There is one question. We just got it. And so it says, I have one question. How do I see my twin accurately? So I think I just covered that here, but we can definitely expound upon that if anyone else has something else to mention.
Yeah, that's what we've been talking about. Seeing your twin flame as an ascension partner. They're your ascension partner. They show you where you need love. You give yourself love. And you partner with them in your life purpose, but you don't do it through control. And this is why a lot of people here in the Twin Flames Universe community, they go all in with God and with their divine life purpose, because you don't have to wait for your twin flame to be on board with you. You go straight into it, go all into what makes you come alive and how you connect with God. And your twin flame will naturally mirror that. I think people get mistaken when they're like, well, my twin flame is supposed to serve God with me. So come on, twin flame, let's go. And then that's looking at them as separate from you. It's thinking that they don't choose as one with you. I went through this a little bit in my own union where I help people with their twin flame. That's what I do for my life purpose. Some people could call that a career, but I say life purpose because it aligns with what it is. It's who I am. My twin flame recently got into culinary school. So it looks like these two things are like this, but there is a connection, and it's not up to me to figure out that connection. I just roll with what feels good to me, and things will naturally come together. Um, and who knows what it will build into. But the more I try to control it and try to get something to happen, the less effective that is, and the worse I feel. And it doesn't do well. When I choose to be with God, everything flows. And that is one of the ways to correctly see or accurately see your twin flame, is to remember that they are one with you and that they are mirroring you. They're your divine mirror of how you interact with God and how you interact with yourself. So if your twin flame is doing something you don't like, you don't try to smear it in the outside. You look within and utilize the tools and resources that we have here, and just keep trying, keep doing them. I thought I was really good at things until I came here, realized I had a lot to master. So yeah, that would be what I would share. Does anyone have anything else?
Yeah, I think for me, one of the core things I had to recognize about seeing my twin flame clearly was that I couldn't look at them from my own physical eyes. I literally had to see them from my heart. Like, and it's a little hard to explain, but it's like when I recognized my true twin flame, it wasn't from looking at him. It's like my heart recognized him. It was just like oh, finally, here you are. Like, this makes sense now. And it was one of those moments of why everything else didn't work out and why I was led to this exact place with him. The other thing too is, I guess how not to look at your twin flame would be to look at them as your source of love, your source of attention. Really working on one of the things that is very crucial in unions is healing codependency, not depending on them to fulfill your needs. And for a lot of people, they're like, well, what's the point of a relationship? Well, a soulmate relationship, you could totally do that, absolutely. But with a twin flame relationship, a union, it's meant to help you direct what you're needing and wanting from God, and allowing God to love you in that space. So there will be times where, like, I'll tell God, God, I want deeper commitment and love and attention. And so I go to God for that. And then God will move in many mysterious ways, whether he chooses to move through my twin flame to give me that, or my children, or just myself, whatever. I've had to really learn to let go of attachment to how God chooses to love me. But I've always learned that God loves me perfectly and gives me exactly what I need, not always what I want, but for the most part, it's always what I need in that moment, never anything more, not anything less, never sooner, never too late. And it has really allowed me to trust that all of my needs will be met when I go directly to God. And he will move perfectly through my twin flame when it is appropriate. And so this has really allowed my twin flame to just be who he is. When we do that, it doesn't put pressure on our twin flame. Like, imagine someone coming up to you and being like, I need your attention, I need your love, I need validation, I need all of these things. That can feel very overwhelming for someone. And so when you can learn to go to God as your source and allow God to move through that person, it really does allow them that freedom to just be them, and knowing that they are allowed to just love you as it feels good to them. And so this really allows you to heal codependency and to be interdependent on God. So you have two whole people coming together to create a union instead of two people looking to each other to meet each other's needs. And honestly, when you stop meeting someone's needs, that's where that resentment comes in. That's where the you don't love me, you don't care about me, I'm leaving kind of energy starts to stem. And I really believe that's ultimately why there's so many divorces in the United States, is because when someone stops meeting each other's needs, they start to look outside of the relationship for it. In a twin flame union, we're taught to look within and to look to God. So there is no need to look outside for that love and attention and validation and anything that you're looking for.
I hope that answers the question. That was
Mm.
very, very awesome what you shared. Are there any other questions coming up?
Yeah, there's a great question here. Can a soulmate play a role while there is no communication with my twin flame? It's very confusing sometimes, as a soulmate treats me so nice while my twin flame keeps silent.
Oh, that's a good question. I think a lot of people are challenged with that.
Hmm.
Um, you have to ask yourself, like, what do you really desire? Do you desire what is pleasant, what feels good in the short term, but isn't your natural design or your ultimate experience? Or do you desire what is good, which might not sometimes feel pleasant, right? There's a section in the book about a particular situation when you've done your inner work, and this is a caveat here. When you've done your inner work and you've loved yourself and you're starting to master the inner work, you're working with a coach, you're learning from Twin Flame Ascension School, you're on the path. And as you continue loving yourself, this new person pops up and your twin flame's nowhere to be found. And in the book, Jeff and Shalia call it the Sam Schmo experience. Like Sam Schmo comes along, and they're absolutely not what you've been looking for. And you're inviting them in, but what Jeff and Shalia write in the book is, if exploring Sam Schmo entices you and excites you, then go for it, because they're going to be teaching you something that you need to move forward into your twin flame union, that you need in order to be in harmonious union. Maybe you've like had the experience of being with someone who treated you badly, and then with Sam Schmo, you're going to resolve that issue and they're like the gateway to your twin flame, or they could actually be your true twin flame in disguise. Um, but I did want to like kind of emphasize that initial caveat, because I see um some people who haven't quite mastered the tools, who are in a state of codependency and trying to source love from the external, like someone can say like the verb to farm love from the outside. And it sounds really awkward when we put it that way, but that's because it is awkward.
Mhm.
Your source of love isn't outside of you, it's within. And so you want to ask yourself, maybe get clear with your coach on what your intention is behind that relationship. Are you using it uh to replace the love that you're meant to give yourself, or are you entering that relationship consciously thinking maybe this could be your twin flame, and exploring there and seeing what this person is there to teach you, if you're not quite sure who your twin flame is. It's different for every person. That's a really, really good question. I think, Kanisha, you wanted to share.
Yeah, it's I was married to a soulmate prior to learning who my true twin flame was. And this soulmate was a very great loving partner, very kind, very present with me. I mean, we had our upsets and our contrasts. However, there was this just nagging feeling at all times that I was missing something. I didn't think it was a person, but I could feel this void within me that I was missing something. And ultimately I realized it was God, and it was also my twin flame. And when I really made the choice to let go of the soulmate, there was a part of me that was like, why did I let that go? That was so easy and they were so good to me. But it really was pointing at this place of where I was ultimately choosing separation from my divine counterpart. And by exploring other relationships while I was trying to figure out who my true twin flame was, that was very helpful. One of the things that I do recommend strongly is not attaching to who you think your twin flame is. To this day, even though my twin flame is revealed to me, there's times where he will upset me and I have to release attachment. And so I let go of the person and the name. Jeff taught me this. And I had to just choose in my heart that my true twin flame and I align in this place, and I make a new choice here, and I choose to love myself here. And my true twin flame would always reveal himself and meet me there. And I'm like, okay, like he continues showing up, he continues mirroring my healing to me. The important part is the healing. And so what Lisi was pointing out is, what is your intention behind this? Are you only exploring the soulmate because you're not getting the attention and the love and the communication from your twin flame? Or are you exploring it because you want to heal and you know that maybe this person has a piece for you? If you are getting silence from your twin flame, ultimately they're mirroring you being silent with yourself somewhere, silent with God. And so there is not an upset or a circumstance that you cannot heal using the mirror exercise. The mirror exercise is meant to heal every upset and separation within your consciousness. That is why I'm still here, because I've learned firsthand that all of them could be healed. Some of the biggest upsets that I was like, this is never going to happen. And by continuously persisting and committing to the mirror exercise and doing my inner work, it was like they just started shifting very quickly. And that's because your outer reality is a reflection of your inner reality. So if you're getting in your outer reality, your twin flame ignoring you, they're pointing somewhere within you. You're doing the same thing. So just being really clear on your intentions of why you want to explore the soulmate. And I always tell clients myself, like, if you're not fully in a committed relationship, like you and your twin flame haven't made the commitment to each other, like, hey, we're going to explore this together, then do give yourself that permission to explore, but again, not attaching to the person. Your love list is a core component to this. If this person doesn't meet at least 80% of your love list, you might want to reconsider that. And also just being very aware of how you feel with this person. And just again, releasing codependency. Are you here because they're giving something to you that you're not giving yourself? And if that's the case with the soulmate, that will tend to vibe out. That will tend to fizzle out, because ultimately you are meant to give these things to yourself.
Amen. Yeah, I feel it's it's really important to understand that the twin flame ascension journey is an ascension journey. And when you're committing to this path, it is the equivalent, the spiritual equivalent of priesthood. Like someone mentioned a while back, it looks like, this community is a community full of like monks and nuns, right? That are committed to their twin flame and not going on like Tinder or whatnot. They're just, gung ho twin flame. Um, and that is true, because only your ultimate lover will do. When you have that taste of your twin flame in your heart, you're like, no one else except my twin flame will do here. Then nothing else will ever satisfy you. It's like, divine uh filet mignon dinner and like with Kobe beef from the Kobe beef fields in Japan, with a nice glass of like 1976 red wine or something, versus eating cardboard chips. I mean, that's the that's not, I don't even do it justice. But it is the equivalent of what many people go into ashrams or join convents, or it's a very high spiritual journey. It's a very high vibrational spiritual journey, because of the challenges that you face when you're facing yourself with your twin flame. Your twin flame is going to mirror those places inside of you, in what feels like a sometimes very intense way if you don't really see the journey properly. And so those of you who are here, who are watching this, and kind of resonating with this, you understand like the big calling that you're invited to do. And the calling is to heal your upsets and reveal your divine life purpose on this path. Like this is a big deal. And it is the latest revelation on the planet of spirituality. It is the most um like you're gonna get the most ascension through this path, because in other ascension paths you're not um like you're not influenced to examine certain places within your consciousness, because those aren't being mirrored or reflected back to you. And if you're around your twin flame, ooh, you're gonna have stuff mirrored to you. um
Mhm.
People that aren't ready for that find it very challenging, but it's very rewarding at the same time. Living with my twin flame has been just light upon light. And we're still healing, and it keeps going. So it's a journey that keeps unfolding step by step.
Yeah, and I'm sure at one point it didn't even look like you were going to be living with your twin flame. I think we all moved that through that. Like it looked like, nope, this is never going to come together. This is never going to work out. But this work really is guaranteed. There's many, many couples who are now engaged, including Christina here, to their twin flame, going to be married. At one point, didn't even know who their twin flame was, but through this work, like it is guaranteed to come into union and harmonious union with your twin flame. But the only person who can make that choice and that investment is you. And I think we've all touched really on the fact that like this work, it does work. Twin Flame Ascension School, we've all done and still do, even as ascension coaches. We are all still moving through the classes, and some of us multiple rounds of these classes. We all have our own ascension coach. None of us are doing it by ourselves or trying to accomplish this on our own. We like to say here that like it takes a whole community to raise a harmonious union, and this is facts. But ultimately it's really having to, in order to see your twin flame clearly and for them to see you clearly, it is having to choose the path of twin flames and actually fully committing to that path, committing to the work, and allowing yourself to move through the process, and having patience with it. That's a massive part of this journey, is having patience as things unfold. For a long time, for me, it looked like nothing was moving, but under the surface, everything was moving. And then very quickly, things just started falling into place. And so it's having to make that choice and committing to yourself here and knowing that like you're not going to settle for anything other than your twin flame union.
Amen. I agree with that.
Well, how are you feeling here?
Good. I was wondering if there's any other comments or questions coming up.
Yeah, so there's a question. Is it okay to allow a soulmate to come into our life to mirror my upsets with my twin flame? Because I feel I'm numbed out to feeling my twin flame upsetting me.
There's always an upset in consciousness until you're in perfect union with God. And one quote or clip that I like from Twin Flame Ascension School is, I remember Jeff saying, "All right, so can you manifest a pot of gold for me now?" And he was inviting the student to, if the student couldn't manifest this pot of gold, and there was some kind of upset somewhere in consciousness, because as divine beings, when we become like Babaji and ascend and come into perfect union with God, then we would be capable of manifesting a pot of gold with the atoms. Has anybody ever watched Invincible, the series Invincible on Amazon? I think there's a character called Adam Eve, like Atom, Atom Eve. and she
Hmm.
can actually manifest with she can reorganize the atoms in the universe. Anyway, that's a digression. I'm sorry. But yeah, there's always an upset there. And so you can choose to feel your feelings. You can state a decree. I choose to feel all my feelings right now.
Hmm.
Um, and just choose to be with God. The truth is, like, you are designed to be with your twin flame and your twin flame only as a romantic partner. And if you're not with your twin flame, like, what's the point? Like, what's the point of having a romantic partnership if you're not with your twin flame? That's what I would say.
I think to add on to that, if you are gonna explore having I was gonna say twin flame, a soulmate mirroring things to you, I highly recommend to leave it at just the platonic relationship and not leak your sexual energy in any sort, not having a like sexual romantic relationship with this person platonically just for mirroring and in ascending. Um, but other than that, again, that it's your journey. It's really up to you and how you desire to explore that. For me, there was a period of time where my twin flame and I had went different directions. I was having a massive upset of like, is this really my twin flame? And of course, he was mirroring that to me, and so we did go different directions for about a month and a half. And I did have someone come in my life who on paper looked like they could easily be my twin flame. We had a lot of similarities, but I could feel in my heart that this wasn't my person. And I just asked God, like, God, please reveal this connection to me. If this is something I'm meant to explore, please show me that. If not, please remove them. And I kid you not, that person was kidnapped because I've never spoken to them again. They just literally disappeared out of my reality. And that was a very clear sign that that was not a person God wanted me exploring or even using to help mirror. And ultimately, it was having to recognize that I didn't need anything outside of me in order to connect with me inwardly. I just needed to go within and just started being honest with myself. That is the first key to harmonious union is honesty. And that is also a really important part of the mirror exercise is being honest about how do you feel about what they're doing. So for instance, I will get a lot of people who are confused by the mirror exercise. Like, I'm upset that my twin flame went out on a date with another girl. Step two, I'm upset with myself because I went on a date with another girl or with myself. That doesn't make any sense. And so then we ask, well, what is the feeling that it brings up for you and the action that they did? And that is what's helping you really get clear on how do you feel about this, and then giving yourself the love that you need in order to shift that feeling into feeling good, feeling peaceful. So Lisi has touched on this a few times, mastering the mirror exercise, having a journal, writing out the basics. If you haven't read Twin Flames, Finding Your Ultimate Lover, I highly recommend that. If you only read chapter 5, I highly recommend you doing that because that goes over the mirror exercise many, many times. And for me, being a coach and being in this community for 6 years, I don't even think until it was like year 3 or 4, I was in one of Lisi's group coaching, and I was just like, I think I've been doing the mirror exercise, but I've been missing this component of like, how does this action truly make me feel? I was so focused on the action that I wasn't actually focused on the feeling that was coming up for me. And that was a game changer for me. And so being able to truly master that is going to be so important because you do want to live with your twin flame. You want to have one life with them. And when they're in the same room as you, showing you a not so fun upset, you want to be able to move through it and work through it without having to go into separate corners and trying to heal by yourself. You're meant to heal with your twin flame. So, really mastering that, really getting clear on that, and really having the support that you need by having an ascension coach. I don't know what I would do without my ascension coaches and the group coachings that I do, and really the just twin flame ascension school. Like, there's just so much support there that you are truly meant to move through this and come into union with ease if that's what you choose. How are you both feeling here? I'm feeling pretty complete. All right, perfect. All right. Well, thank you everyone who joined us today for our live. And thank you for the wonderful questions. We really love when you guys have that opportunity to interact with us and we can share with you just what we have learned here. You can meet here. You can meet us here every Friday at this time, which is 4 p.m. EST, and really be able to just go deeper in your journey. And for those of you who are watching the recording on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you guys again here very soon. Yes, take care.